So, good afternoon, everybody. We want to welcome you here to the Hattie Mae White Education Center, Houston Independent School District. I'm very honored to be joined here by a number of officials, but specifically Sheriff Ed Gonzalez and Chief Acevedo from the Houston Police Department. And what we wanted to talk today about was several things. Number one, about school safety. I know there's a number of questions given the incident that happened in Parkland, Florida. And we also know that there are a number of incidences that people may or may not have heard of, but we want to share information, put people at ease about what we're doing in terms of keeping our students safe. First and foremost, my message to all students in the greater Houston area, but especially in the Houston Independent School District, is that you do not joke around with any kind of threat. You may think it's funny, you may think you're just getting a gag out of it. We take threats extremely seriously, and they will be followed up. And in fact, and I'll let our officers talk about this, but it's a crime. It's a crime to make a threat against a school or a school population. So for all of our students, I just want to say, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not funny, especially in this kind of an environment. But to our parents and our students and our entire community, I want to say to them also that the best, statistically and in the research it's been shown, the best school safety are students. And if you hear something, you have to say something. If you see something, you have to say something. If someone is showing you something or writing things that can appear to be a threat against a school or a school community, it's your responsibility to your fellow classmates to say something. Report that to an adult and make sure that we can follow up on that. Make sure you don't keep that information to yourself. Now, I know that in school communities there's this issue around snitching. That's not snitching. I guarantee you right now in Parkland, where there are 17 individuals who lost their lives, if somebody would have said something, perhaps that wouldn't have happened. So we want to make sure that everybody is safe in school, but the answer is not metal detectors, the answer is not razor wire and fences. It's our very own students and adults in those schools saying something when you see something. The other thing that I want to emphasize is that I'm standing here with our police officers, our sheriff, our chief, and other police officers, but I want the community to understand that we work hand in hand with the law enforcement in Houston to keep our schools safe. And while we have our own police department in the Houston Independent School District, we count on, we depend on, and we work arm in arm with the Houston Police Department, the Sheriff's Office, our constables' offices, to make sure that our schools are safe in terms of students getting to school and coming from school. So I want you to understand that we are working together to make sure that our schools are safe. The last thing that I want to question that I want to answer is that we've gotten a lot of questions about what are schools doing to improve their safety. So I want to assure you that we've asked all of our principals to revisit their emergency response plans, and there's a number of kinds of responses. You know, if there's a gas leak or if there's an intruder, it runs the gamut. So we've asked everybody to review their emergency response plans. You're going to see schools over the next few weeks practicing some scenarios, so we don't want parents to be alarmed, and schools should let you know when that's going to happen. But then we've also, like I said, coordinated with our law enforcement partners and friends to ensure that both safe passages are secured and return from school passages are secured as well. So we want to make sure that our community knows that from the Houston Independent School District side, we are paying attention. We're very, very alert to making sure that our school security plans are in place. But again, if you see something, say something. And the one thing you should not say is joke around with any threats to a school or school community. So with that, I'd like to turn the mic over to our Chief of Police, Art Acevedo.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Good morning, everybody. First of all, thanks for your patience, and thank you for your partnership and your leadership here in the City of Houston. The first thing I want to say to students is, like the superintendent said, that there's things we joke about, and one of the things we don't joke about, and under any circumstance, is a threat. You don't joke about shooting people, you don't joke about blowing things up, you don't joke about hurting people, because in this state and across the nation, that is considered a terrorist threat. And to be real honest with you all, it is a crime, and you're going to be investigated, you're going to end up being arrested and processed and charged with the crime. So it's really important, since especially in this environment where we know that active shootings are occurring in our schools, and too frequently it is something that we cannot tolerate. So the young people, do not joke, do not threaten, do not make statements that can be construed as a threat. Secondly, the parents. It's been said that it takes a village to raise a child, and I'd like to say it takes a village to keep an educational community, any neighborhood, any city safe, and it starts with parents at home. We need you to have a conversation with your children about the do's and don'ts and the etiquettes of social media, the etiquettes of what you should be saying and not saying, and what you should be doing and not doing, and most importantly, the importance of understanding that joking about violence is not acceptable under any circumstance, and especially in a world of Parklands and Columbines and other incidents involving active shootings throughout the nation. The other thing for people to realize is since the Parkland incident, we've had just in our AOR, Area Responsibility Police Department, 7 incidents where threats have been identified and threats have been investigated, and once again, it can't be tolerated. Just this morning at the KIPP Academy, Charlestown campus on 8440 West Park, a 12-year-old male student threatened to use an AR-15 rifle to shoot up the school. Again, that is a terrorist or terroristic threat, and it is a crime. But it starts with parents at home. You have to have these conversations with your children. The do's and don'ts of 2018 in a world of violence, in a world of gun violence, in a world of active shooters, we cannot be joking about that. I also want to tell parents that we're working very closely with our partners at the Sheriff's Office in Harris County, the Houston Independent School District Police Department, and all of our partner agencies on responding to active shooters, on how to not just prevent and disrupt these type of incidents, but also to respond. And I'm very fortunate that we have access to all the cameras at HISD when there's an emergency, so our officers can respond, our TAC teams can respond, and with a lot of real-time intelligence to be able to locate a threat and isolate a threat and take out a threat and try to minimize any casualties to our kids. Lastly, it's really important for everyone to know that we all need to have our eyes and ears open. This is an environment today in this nation where it is important to say something. We know that when we all take that role seriously, we end up creating a safer environment. So we really urge parents, students, teachers, faculty, everybody involved, whether it's a school or anywhere in our city or in our state or in our nation. If you hear something, if you see something, if something seems out of the ordinary, please let us know. We have a lot of assets. We have mental health professionals. We have a lot of things we can leverage, a lot of programs we can leverage, a lot of expertise we can leverage to help someone out. So with that, I'm going to say real quickly in Spanish que estamos trabajando y viviendo en una época cuando no podemos permitir que ninguna clase de amenaza sea contra ninguna escuela, ninguna persona. Es un crimen. Necesitamos que los papás y las madres presten atención a lo que están haciendo sus hijos y sus hijas. Expliquen de que esto no es un juego. Amenazando a una persona, a una escuela, amenazando la violencia es algo que es un crimen. Desde la incidencia en Parkland hemos tenido en la ciudad de Houston, solamente mi ciudad, en esta ciudad de Houston solamente, ya hemos tenido 7 casos, han visto amenazas contra una escuela. Esta mañana un niño de 12 años en el KIPP Academy amenazó que iba a usar un AR-15, un rifle, iba a disparar en su escuela, y de nuevo eso es un crimen. Es importante que la comunidad sepa que estamos trabajando muy juntos con el sheriff, con el superintendente en las escuelas para mantener la seguridad pública, pero al fin del día la comunidad tiene que hacer su parte. Enseñen a sus hijos, que eduquenlo, que no estén jugando, que no es nada, que no es broma y que es un crimen. Y más importante, si saben algo que es sospechoso, algo que no se parece normal, por favor repórtelo, porque juntos podemos mantener la seguridad pública aquí en nuestras escuelas, en nuestra comunidad. Y con eso, I'll turn it over to Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, a great friend and partner with the Harris County Sheriff's Department.
Thank you, Chief. It's an honor to be here with Superintendent Carranza, with our Houston Police Chief Acevedo, with Interim Chief Cordova as well. and good to be with all of you, so thank you for joining us. I want to thank HISD Board of Education and Superintendent Carranza for organizing this event to show our community that we are all united in our effort to ensure that our schools in Harris County remain safe havens for learning. We know that children and teachers must feel safe if they are to thrive academically. Unfortunately, that sense of security has been shaken by the increasing frequency of mass shootings as the one that occurred last week in Broward County, Florida. The sad truth is that the staff and students of Stoneman Douglas High School appear to have taken all the appropriate steps to make their school safe. They had conducted drills, and they had previously identified the gunman as someone who had posed a potential threat. And yet, he managed to shoot his way through the campus, killing 17 during this terrible rampage. As a member of law enforcement, our job is to protect the residents of Houston and Harris County. We do not make the laws, and until our lawmakers take action, we must operate in an environment where the ownership of weapons that can inflict massive casualties in a short period of time is more prevalent than ever. Yesterday, my team and I met with operators of the largest public charter school operators in Harris County to discuss ways we can safeguard our campuses. Today, I am proud to stand here with the leaders of the largest public school district in Texas, HISD, of which I'm a product of, to offer our full support and cooperation to keep all schools safe. As Chief Acevedo said, this takes collaborative policing. It takes working beyond the normal boundaries that we normally operate to make sure that we're working together, understanding each other's policies and ways of response so that we can make sure that we're effective and prepared for anything. But we also need the public's help. We need to continue to encourage anyone who suspects that someone may be planning an act of violence against our schools to come forward and share their information. We will take your report seriously, and we will investigate promptly. As Chief Acevedo said, we also need parents to take an active role to make sure that they're discussing with their students, with their children, safe use of social media, of how to report incidents of bullying, for example, and other everyday occurrences that our teens and students may be experiencing. We also need the help of our students. As Superintendent Carranza said, those who make false threats of violence in an effort to disrupt their schools will be arrested and prosecuted. There's a chance of that. Threatening a public school in our current climate is especially serious business. Now more than ever, we need brave students to come forward with information that will help law enforcement prevent attacks and also stop those who make threats. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, Chief. We'd be happy to answer some questions. Yo también quisiera decir una breve nota en español para nuestros padres de familia hispanoparlantes. Es importante reconocer que hacer una amenaza contra una escuela o contra una persona, como ha dicho nuestro jefe de policía Acevedo y nuestro sheriff González, es un crimen. No es nada con lo que deberían estar jugando. También es importante reconocer que es la responsabilidad de la comunidad en total asegurar la seguridad de nuestras escuelas. Entonces la sugerencia es para nuestros padres, para nuestros estudiantes, si ven algo, si escuchan algo, repórtenlo por favor a una persona de autoridad, sea un maestro, sea un director, sea alguien que esté en la escuela, que sea un adulto, repórtenlo, porque en este clima, en estos tiempos, no es nada de estar bromeando. So we'd be happy to take any questions that you might have.
Richard, there's a new movement right now called National Walkout. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
Is HISD prepared for any student bodies to get together and walk out of school peacefully in a protest?
So we've heard about the various movements that are afoot about protesting and organizing out of Florida. So a couple of thoughts on that. First and foremost, we feel strongly that the safest place for students is in school. That it's in their classrooms, in school. Our teachers are prepared to have those kinds of discussions. In fact, they're already having those discussions with students so that they can express their opinions. And remember, not everyone's of the same mindset in terms of the issues being discussed. So we're providing that environment in our schools. So we feel students should be safe in schools. But I, as a superintendent, also believe in the First Amendment. And I think that if students peacefully want to make their feelings known, I think that's what we're educating students to be able to do, express themselves in a peaceful way. I will tell you that I've been very impressed with students that have chosen to express their First Amendment rights by walking out. I don't encourage that, but I will tell you just recently we had students at Austin High School who were very organized. They were very peaceful. They had signs. They did it at lunch when they wouldn't miss any classes, and they made their point. So kudos to them. That's peaceful demonstration. So I think students or young adults have the voice to be able to express what they want. We are working very hard at the school district as we get more information to be prepared in case there is participation from our students in our school district. Again, I want to emphasize that the safest place for students is in class, in school. But we're going to be prepared in case that does happen here in Houston.
Is there any form of punishment that they could face for walking out?
We're not talking about any kinds of punishment at this point.
Possibly, you can there were 7 incidents. Can you run those down for us and tell us what they press for and how many they students or
Well, I mean, these are all open investigations, and I'm not sure on it. I just handed this on the way over here. But this morning, one was, again, somebody, a 12-year-old male student, talking about shooting up the KIPP Academy with an AR-15. Another one was threatening a shooting at Kingwood Park High School. That was 12/18, and Hawaii HISD is working on that as well. Most of them are really about shooting and carrying out a shooting attack on schools. And again, it is just not something that is going to be taken lightly, and most importantly, it's something you should be tweeting about. What some of these kids think is there's anonymity on Facebook, there's anonymity on all these social media platforms. They don't realize that we can get court orders very quickly, search warrants very quickly, subpoenas very quickly to get information and to identify them. So there is no anonymity, and we're going to identify you, we're going to charge you with the crime. So that's really the crux of the types of threats we're seeing.
no arrests so far?
I don't know on top of my head. We'll put something out later on.
Were there 7 incidents just today alone?
No, this is since February 5th. There's 7 incidents since February 5th.
Is that a larger abnormal number of instances of rapid violence during
No, I could just tell you anecdotally, I would be getting those notices, and 7 in a very short period of time is higher than what we usually experience, at least for the police department.
And Sheriff, have you responded to any of these threats as well? How many
I don't have the exact number, but we're aware of some of them that we work with, like HISD. For example, they have their own police department out there as well, and so I know they were responding to one yesterday, I believe. And so there have been, as the chief said, it seems anecdotally to be an uptick in them. And in the past, maybe they did occur, but now with the heightened sense of concern, obviously, I think we're all, our antennas up on this a lot more. And so we're, in the past, maybe it was just, responded to and dealt with initially. Now there's heightened concern across all systems, and everyone wants to work together to kind of see how we could kind of mitigate this. And parents obviously want to know as well that the school districts and everyone's working together to try to keep their campuses safe.
Superintendent Governor Abbott has just released a response to Parkland school shooting, saying that his office plans to check on school safety audits and name and shame publicly schools that do not have funding. Can you give me a status on HISD's public safety audit and where it stands? Is it in compliance currently?
Yeah, so we're reviewing every one of our school safety plans to make sure that people are familiar with them. Having been a high school principal, having been a teacher, I can tell you that you can have the best plan in the world, but if you haven't rehearsed it, you haven't looked at it, and it's still on the shelf, nice and dusty, then it's no good to anyone. So this is a good opportunity for us to review our plans. I welcome the governor's intercession. I hope there's some funding that comes with that. So that we can help school districts actually implement more robust safety features. So I'm all for it in case he's going to attach some money to that as well. But again, the best preventative measure is a well-informed school culture, a student body that feels comfortable bringing information forward. So we're also investing in making sure, as part of, you could call it social emotional learning, you could call it community schools, we call it just having a good good school culture where people feel comfortable coming forward when they have information.
And you had talked
About practicing scenarios in the coming weeks. Could you talk more about that?
Sure. So the scenarios are multifaceted. So I think everybody's probably familiar with the fire drill. Correct. But, it gets a little more nerve-wracking when you start talking about an active shooter drill. So you have an intruder, so go into lockdown. What does that look like? We know that in many of our schools, and I don't want to reveal too much of the details, but schools have certain code words they'll use or certain code phrases that they'll use which indicate that people should do certain things. That's what I'm talking about in terms of reviewing the school plan, so that everyone's familiar with what that looks like, everyone knows what to do, and that you've thought about it in advance. It's a good opportunity to practice those types of drills. So parents, we know that schools will probably let parents know in advance we're going to have a drill tomorrow, so don't be alarmed. But then again, we also want to make sure that parents are in contact with their schools. I know that one of the biggest both advantages and challenges whenever you have an incident at a school is that everyone has a cell phone. So immediately cell phones come out and people start sharing information. And I mentioned that there will be rehearsals and practices only because we don't want parents to be getting a cell phone text or a phone call from their student and we alarm the community unnecessarily. If there is, God forbid, an incident, you will get official information. But in this case, we want to make sure that everybody has practiced their plan, knows their plan, and that knows what to do in case of an emergency.
Are some of these new scenarios or just extra practice?
I don't have all the details on that, but I think our emergency plans have been pretty robust. So they include pretty much every scenario you can think of. So we're asking people to just go through and make sure they're familiar with all of the scenarios and start practicing a couple that haven't been practiced before.
And I wanted to bring up the issue of bullying. We had an expert on our morning show that talked about 75% of school shooters have history of being bullied. Students have talked about concerns with needing to amp that up. Are you guys looking into the issue of bullying?
Yeah, so the incident in Parkland didn't start our interest in bullying. We've actually had a real focus for the last 2.5 years on social emotional wraparound services. So when I talk about creating a school environment in which students feel safe and comfortable in coming forward with information, part of that has to do with students not only when they see a weapon or they hear about a weapon, but also when they feel bullied. We take bullying incidences very seriously. We work not to criminalize bullies. We look in terms of a restorative practices approach to make sure that the student can understand the harm they're doing and what they're doing and make repairs for what they've said or what they've done. And what we try to do is to, because we're an educational institution, educate students so that they don't commit that act again and again and again. But we also want to make sure that students understand that schools are a safe environment and that bullying is not tolerated, it's not supported, and that we will follow up. But it's important to understand that if a student is being bullied, the bully is counting on you not saying anything. They operate in the dark. They want you to not say anything. So when a student comes forward and reports it and lets us know that that's happening, you're shining the light of day on that incident, and it allows us as educators and as caregivers to come in then and mitigate, take care of, fix, help remedy that situation. So again, it all goes back to the school culture and the wraparound services that this Board of Education has been investing in for quite a while. And I want to take the opportunity to also thank one of our trustees, Trustee Holly Maria Flynn Villaseca, who's joining us here today. Thank you so much, Trustee.
Do you have, how many schools have arms officers or guards over at the on campus right now? What types of schools do you have that? And to what extent will that potentially affect our looking at increase police department?
So I'll ask Interim Chief Cordova, who wants to give me some more details, but my understanding is we have about 89 schools that have a police officer at the school. We know that our high schools have them because their high schools are big groups of students, large numbers of people there. Some of our middle schools have them as well. We also have patrol officers that patrol passages to school, both at the start of the day and at the end of the day. So we try to have quite a presence at our schools. Chief, does that sound right? Okay. So the other thing in terms of, it's no secret that HISD is facing a very austere budget environment this year, about $206 to $208 million in cuts. And as we look at where those cuts will happen, there are several areas where absolutely we want to hold as harmless as possible. The first of that is in the classrooms. We want to make sure that we keep those cuts as far away from the classroom as possible. But the second is we want to make sure schools are safe. So we are prioritizing safety. This is before the unfortunate incident in Florida, but we are prioritizing safety because we know that parents want their students to be in safe environments. So this is, again, part of why we're here, to assure the public that we're not looking at cutting all of our officers or cutting all of our security in the midst of this budget crisis. But I will take this opportunity to say this is a perfect example of how the underfunding of public education right here in Texas has effects on all of us, especially in urban environments. When you take into account that right now the per pupil funding is less than $10,000 per student in Texas to educate a public education student, and the funding for juvenile incarceration is over $100,000. You either invest now or you will most certainly pay later. So we want to make sure that this is also a reminder to our policymakers that you can't just fund schools, you have to invest in schools. And investment means keeping them safe, teaching them something when you're there, and then giving them the resources to attend to issues that develop when you have large groups of people together, like bullying and like threats. That's all part of what we do in an educational system. Thank you all for coming. Thanks.